Do you feel the fear or frustration of the financial statement audit? Well, chances are if you're a publicly held company, you have certain debt, or you have investors, you have to go through it every year. My name is ROARK, CEO of ROARK, and I'm here to talk to you about taking the fear and frustration out of the financial statement audit. First of all, what is an audit? There's all sorts of audits that are out there, right? So there are audits for the government. There are audits and the IRS, the most dreaded one of all, right? There's audits from the state. There's audits from compliance. It just feels like lions, tigers, and bears, oh my, at a certain point. But the audit that I'm talking about is the audit with your CPA firm, right? The independent accountants coming out to publish an opinion on your financial statements. And look, it probably happens every year. So the question is, do you fear it? And is it frustrating? Does it hold back your business? Or do you have it to a point, and believe it or not, you can get it to the point where it isn't that hard or isn't that difficult. So I'm here to share the secret of making a frustration-free audit. First and foremost, prepare. So a lot of businesses are like, okay, well, we'll deal with it whenever we get there. But that's not the right way to do it. The right way is to have everything in place in order to get there. So if I were you, I'd be asking, Eric, so what are the right things to have in place? Well, I would love to change your mind today, right? Because it's the mindset that is the most important. Do we look at the audit as a singular event that happens once a year? Or do we look at the quality of the financial information that we receive all year long? Because really the secret to making a great audit has nothing to do with the audit itself. It really is the process, the financial statement close process. And what is a financial statement close process, right? It's all the steps and processes and methodologies that you have in place to ensure that your financial statements are closed accurately and timely. So let's talk about some important items to the financial statement close process. First and foremost, the one that gets overlooked the most, you have to have the right staff. You have to have the right staff that are knowledgeable, the right number of staff. And if you don't have those things, then you're always going to be struggling. And being able to structure that accounting department to be able to optimize that is going to be very important. So typically you've heard of people, process, and system. Well, there we go. The first question is, do we have the right people, right? The next question is, do we have the right process? So when we look at process and going through process, the first thing that you need is a financial statement close checklist. Here is the list of all the items, regularly recurring, that we need to do and who needs to do them. And here's when they need to be done by in order to make this work effectively. So look, the financial statement close isn't so much about accounting. It's really about the success of your project management skills. Think of every close as a project. There's so many multiple things and dependencies. And the better you're able to manage those dependencies is the more success you'll have. For example, in the first day or two, you're going to want to close down the subledgers. These are AR, AP, inventory with a transactional level detail. When you're going through a financial statement audit, you're going to be on a GAAP basis because that's the way that they report. So then you're going to be doing accruals and adjustments in order to make those in line with GAAP. And it's just so you're going to want to do those in the next days. And then there's going to be a review or estimation. You're going to run through all your estimates, maybe inventory, bad debt, things like that. And then you're going to want to go through your review process as well. So the question becomes too, do you want a soft or a hard close? That becomes an opinion based on the business. So maybe monthly, some businesses want a soft close because the way their numbers are, the need for financials, and the way that they work internally. And then quarterly and annually, you need a hard close. What I like to do is just analyze in the company, say, hey, these are what we can do in the months that aren't quarter end months, and these are the things that need to be done quarterly. And depending on how significant, there's a lot of considerations, how significant the transactions are, how much they affect the financials, how much they affect the direction in making those decisions. And you have monthly, you have quarterly, and annual things that you'll look at. There are some things annually like commitments and contingencies that I normally wouldn't look at in my financial statements unless there was a known issue. those become disclosures that go into your footnotes as opposed to statements that actually arrive on your financials. So I think going through that and developing that process is going to be really important. The last thing is going to be system. So when we look at systems, some systems make it easier than others. And there's additional softwares that you can buy to be able to help with reconciliations, to be able to help with assigning, managing the close process, and being able to report at the end of the day, creating the financial statements or the financial analysis to the investors. These are all going to be very critical in being able to expedite your financial statement close process, because you're going to want to look at things like budget to actuals, trend analysis, those type of things that are going to be extremely helpful in saying, hey, are there any errors or anything that's sticking out? So some of the tips that I like to do for financial statement close process is, one, for the balance sheet, I do an account reconciliation for literally every account. I put it into a folder. The account reconciliations are divvied up by the staff and one by one. And then there's always a preparer and a reviewer in that process. When you get to your P&L, there's certain analytics that we look at. Analytics may vary by industry, key performance indicators. And again, you kind of look and see what are the most significant things to your management team. I like to look at trend analysis. So month over month, trailing 12 months, what are things looking at from a trend? And then you'll see, like, one month will be all this expense, the other will be none. Well, why is that? Doesn't mean it's wrong, but it provides great questions. The other thing is year over year analysis. How are we doing this year as compared to last? Common size analysis, where you make everything as a percentage of revenue. And just looking at different variations really gets you comfort on the income statement. One thing that you really want to look out for whenever you're getting through an audit and a close process are a couple things. These are non-recurring items. One, you're going to want to stay up on changes on generally accepted accounting principles. They do happen. They tend to happen every year. And two, one of the things that really gets overlooked and the most significant variances is our contract accounting. If you have stock options, if you have certain required minimums, if you have whatever guarantees of debt, if you have bank covenants, I mean, there's a lot of things in these contracts that have significant impacts on your financials and your financial condition. So lots to consider whenever you're looking, but the key to making the audit simple and frustration-free is prepare for the audit every time you close. And by doing that and putting in a strong financial process, you're going to see that the audit is going to go from a thing of frustration and fear once a year to just another smooth audit going through. It'll reduce your time, it'll reduce your management distraction, and it'll reduce your costs with your auditors and build stronger relationships. So today we've talked about how to make audits frustration-free. Would love to hear your comments in the section below. What are some of your pro tips that you would share? This is about a sharing community with others that has been successful for you. I would love to hear that. And as always, if you have any questions about where you're currently at, or if you're feeling frustrated, contact us for a free consultation. At ROARK, we love helping you all out there, whether you're investors, owners, executives, business professionals, and look forward to frustration-free audits.